Okay, we are back, and I'd like to welcome Liam, who is one of our other judges who is currently helping out with this project. And not a judge, but little Theo is here. uh,
Oh,
he scampered under my shirt, so I need to put him back in his little sleep bag. He's very comfortable there, though. So where were we on the on our little discussion here?
I think we were at the very beginning. We haven't gone into like the finer details yet.
Okay. Oh, we did get a subscriber from Von Aether, and I would like to thank Travis for pointing pointing that out earlier, I think. Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, I was just saying, we were just at the beginning. We were just going over what a game jam is and wh- what do you kind of want to expect?
Oh, for me, I'm thinking stuff along the lines of new abilities like edges, weapon, armor, equipment tags, or fields, or anything from Storypath. Like you could do origin paths. You could even like just have a list of them that you've created. You could do antagonists. You could do a module. Like my mind goes everywhere. Some of us as judges may be participating, but we can't actually win the grand prize. I think I might have put in there that we could win the popular vote because we don't have any say in the popular vote at all. But other than that, we can't win the judge prize and we can't win the grand prize.
And we can't vote on our own stuff because that wouldn't be fair.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be fair. And also, I'm more critical of my own stuff than I am of anyone else's.
Oh, as is traditional for writers and
Definitely.
creatives. Um, yeah. So with game jams, I have been participating in a few over January, and if you're new to them, they are weird. They're basically just create something within the field, and it could be like you said, Corbin. It could be you know uh, new stuff for Scion, or they came from beneath, or whatever. I'm toying with it. They came from the bush as like an Aussie schlock horror Wolf Creek sort of thing,
That's
which would be
awesome.
fun. Yeah, God willing, I have the time. Um, but it's mostly just create something and see what happens. Itch.io has a heap of game jams people can check out if they're a bit stuck, and they're good fun.
Also, it's a period to collaborate because this is also
Yeah.
community. So it's not just showing off and having people just vote on your stuff. It's having people actually give feedback and also, work together. You might want to
Mm,
partner up with another person to
Oh yeah.
fill in those spots that you need to.
mm.
Exactly. There are plenty of people who do game jams as teams. Highly recommend if you find someone who's a really good artist. If you're a writer, a really good artist is good, or someone who's willing to do art. If you're an artist and you want to like find someone who's interested in writing the rules or something, like meet up. I Onyx Path Discord is a pretty good place to find people, and I believe if I type this in, you can join the Onyx Path Discord if you're not already. They I did a game jam back when I was in college because I actually went to college for game design and development, and that one was a day long game jam. Like throughout the weekend, we we were writing a video game for literally 24 hours straight with no sleep. And
Oh,
I don't know what happened towards the end of the night. All I know is somehow a dozen like McDonald's breakfast sandwiches manifested in front of me, and I apparently drove to get them, which I don't remember.
Yep,
But,
that reminds me of uni and doing philosophy assignments. Yeah,
but
yep.
you guys don't have to worry about that. This is a month-long game jam. It's not a month-long expecting you to use the entire month to make your game the most perfect game ever existed. It's a month to give you time to just like have your life, maybe write the game on the weekend or whenever you have time. You don't need to have the most perfect thing out there. It's to be creative, to have fun.
Also, pace yourself. We're not looking for you to run a marathon. Well, run a sprint when this is a marathon. Um, although chicken sandwiches, if you want to randomly buy multiple chicken sandwiches to help you fuel that's you guys got that. That's all you. But take care of yourself as you're doing this. This is supposed to be fun competition, not the end all be all of competitions.
Exactly. Now, I think this might be a good time to go over a few of the things that are in the document that we should probably go over. The dates for people to remember. It starts February 1st. We've set up it to start right now. Uh, the end of the final day of submissions is going to be the 28th, and I'm going to say roughly midnight should be the last not midnight, February 28th, 11:59 p.m. February 28th should be your last chance to submit. And then
those for those of us who are convicts, that will be
yes.
yeah, that'll be midnight in Eastern Standard Time US.
Yes, it would be.
Yep.
It would be
Awesome.
11:59 Eastern Standard Time. I'm using Eastern Standard Time because that's what I usually use, and I apologize for our friends in the UK, Europe, any other part of the world that is not East Coast United States. But and then after that, we'll have on February 29th the award ceremony, and that's where the winners will be announced. And if the judges have any honorable mentions and they can't make the stream or whatever, they can send that to me, and I'll make note of those as well, and we can have a little show of it.
Yeah. Also, 11:59 comes up. Okay, this is not like in college where you can try to submit that thing at 3 a.m. The very next 3 to 6 a.m. You're like, oh, teacher not gonna look at it. 11:59, someone is already looking at it. Someone's already locking the account, and the votes are already about to be written up and looked at. So you really want to get it in as soon as possible.
Yeah, what's a sleep schedule? We'll be watching that like a hawk.
Yeah. I will be updating the judge Excel, well, the listing Excel spreadsheet for us of everyone who submitted, and if you submit prior, I will say if you submit prior to the end of the competition, you are definitely gonna like be judged within a few days of it being submitted, probably, and I'll try and set up a thing so that you will get the anonymized critique from judges, so you can get some feedback from us, if possible. And that way, you can figure out, like, you see what people liked about it, what people maybe think you could have worked on a little bit better, or something like that. All constructive. If you decide to do a Scion game, and I hate Scion, I am not going to put in the critique. You should have done Trinity Continuum instead. That's not me. I think we've got a fair number of people who've played a variety of the games so far. I mean, I've played every single one except Scion, I think. Unless... Who here has played Scion? Just raise your hand. Okay, we've got one.
So I will be the more conceptual judge, as I've not had the opportunity to play Percy Jackson, the role-playing game, also known as Scion, time jumping with Trinity, or the glorious schlock that is They Came From series. I've just not had the time or play group. Got a good grasp of the rules, but We'll see what happens.
And
Yeah.
don't worry, Scion girlies and my they came from they thems. Don't worry, I got you. I know what to look for. If you're talking about Trinity, I know science fiction. That's as far as I am, and I played a few campaigns. That's it. I don't know that much either. So you got an even spread here.
Yeah. I've played Trinity a lot, but it's all been in the last year. I got really hooked into it, and I've been playing every single one of them so far. I think the only one I haven't played yet is Aeon, and the ones that haven't come out really. But okay, let's go over the next section of here because we are halfway through the time allotted. There are the prizes. Grand prize, which means that you've got the highest vote from the judges and from the most popular vote. That means you are going to get the grand prize of $50 from of drive-through RPG credit. You will not be eligible to get the most popular prize pool or the judge's favorite prize pool because you're getting the major one. So we will have 3 unique winners of this competition. The most popular prize is the person who got the highest number of votes in the popular vote from the public. And the judge's favorite prize is going to be going to the person who got the most points in the judge's vote, which we have a rubric. We will go over that in a little bit. And then that was the most important part of that. Then we have the rules here. Contestants are allowed to work individually or on teams. We mentioned that before. You can also get commissions if you wish. That was something I had talked to people at Onyx Path about, and it says if you're spending money on getting commissioned artwork or something, all power to you. You're probably spending more money than what you're probably going to win in this competition. But yeah, it's allowed. Just make sure it's all attributed correctly in your credits page of your entry. So when you submit your PDF to Drive-Thru RPG through Storypath Nexus, just make sure you have on like after your cover page a credits section that says who worked on the project and what role they did, as well as highlight any places where you got stocked images from. That's all part of the Storypath Nexus guidelines. The way that we are going to determine if someone is submitting for the game jam and not just submitting a product for themselves is whether or not they have hashtag Storypath Nexus Game Jam 2024 in the description of their product. If you have that in the description of your product, it makes it easier for us to search for it. That being said, please send the complimentary copy of your Drive-Thru RPG entry to storypathnexusjudges@gmail.com. What this means is essentially that this email will get a complimentary copy, which means we don't have to pay for it. But also, because you're posting a Storypath Nexus, you can post your game for sale. You could do pay what you want, but you could just post it for sale for $1, and if people want to spend $1 for something that sounds interesting, they can. I'm going to go over how to submit stuff sometime next week, so don't worry about it too much right now. If you are unsure how to do that, we will be supplying you guys with information on how to do that. Sending a copy to the judges means that your entry is ready to be judged. Any updates after submission will not be judged. So if you post your entry and you're like, oh, I have a couple of grammar things I need to update, do that immediately, or like we're probably not going to see those changes, because if we're on top of things, if we're downloading the PDF immediately after you've submitted it, we're not going to see those changes. If you add like all this great artwork afterwards, we're probably not going to see it. That's just the nature of how stuff goes down with submitting this, and I don't know how many people are going to participate. So we could be getting like a few dozen participants, or we could be getting hundreds, and I overestimated our ability to do so. Uh, but you are allowed to submit multiple entries, but they will all be scored individually, so you can't like just keep stacking entries and being like, well, I've got 100 points from this entry and 100 points from that entry, so I have 200 points, so that means I win the entire thing, right? No, they'll be judged individually. There are guidelines and frequently asked questions on Storypath Nexus that have to be followed, so please go to those. Additionally, it has to fall into Trinity, Continuum, Scion, or they came from, so that means no stuff from Paradox like A World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness. It also means you can't do anything from Pugmire or I'm trying
Dystopia Rising.
Dystopia
Yeah.
Rising. I'm
A
trying
couple of
to.
the other titles.
I'm just looking at an email I got from. There are other sections, there are other Onyx Path based like drive-through RPG systems like Storypath Nexus, and maybe if this game jam does well, we will they'll greenlight another one for Pugmire. Oh, Onyx Path is based in PA. That's interesting. I guess I just feel like a lot of people are in are in California or something. I always see that. Travis was correcting me on saying that it's in Seattle. That OPP is based in Seattle. Sorry. My little a little bit of an ADD moment there, though I don't have ADD, I don't think. Sorry about
It's
that.
okay. You just join the plethora of undiagnosed individuals in their adulthood if you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to finish that last section, after the game jam is completed, the product that you've posted on Storypath Nexus is yours essentially, so you can update it afterwards if you want. You can adjust how much it costs or anything like that. It's like you have basically made a product that you are selling right now, and you can do whatever you want with it so long as it falls within the guidelines. What else would you like to say before I carry on? No, you're good.
I'm all good. You,
Okay.
Krow?
Okay. We entries must be developed within the time frame of the competition. So if you have posted a bunch of Storypath stuff recently and it's on Nexus, you can't just post it or change it so that it gets submitted. It has to be something that follows the theme, and or at least tries to follow the theme. We can see when stuff has been published to Storypath Nexus, so you'll be disqualified if you do that.
Also, just to add, in the spirit of competition, you should work on something that you have started today, not something you had in your mama's closet 3 months ago, something that you've been workshopping for the past 5 years. Game Jam is normally stuff that you just came up with. So try to do something along the lines of there. Come up with something new and creative, and not something that you were like, well, I've been trying to workshop this with Onyx Path for the past 10 years. We're not looking for that. We're looking for something inventive, something fun and new. Like break out that Scion book that you've been holding off on, that you've been looking at, and you'd be like, I'm gonna come up with an ideal. Today's the day to come up with that ideal.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we already sort of talked about the creative. You can use commissioned artwork. You can use stuff that you have developed. You can use the Onyx Path art packs, which we supplied a link to. I am told that there is a that Dystopia Rising is actually in the templates that we supplied. I have to talk to some people at OPP about that because I didn't know if Dystopian Rising was allowed for this. I'll just have to confirm with them on that. But assume it's not for the moment. We talked about the commissioned artwork stuff. However, art can't be stolen or AI generated, so this will result in disqualification. So the you can't use Wolverine, you can't use like DC Comics images or things that aren't covered by the Storypath Nexus uh, uh, license. So basically, if it's a stock image and you've edited it just a little bit or something like that, that's fine. If it's a stock image of a stormtrooper that someone posted to Pixabay for whatever reason, no, that's not allowed because that could be a licensing issue. All writing must be done by the developer or commissioned. It cannot be AI based and will result in disqualification. There is a rules violation form that if you feel like someone used AI or plagiarized, you can submit that to us. You can upload evidence. If you upload evidence, it'll be a lot easier for us to identify if it's stolen or AI generated. Just know if you do submit something and you might not get a response back from us, and we might deem it maybe it is, unless you wish for us to email you back, we will basically have to investigate ourselves. We're not perfect, but we'll try to do the best that we can. The judges are allowed to participate, but cannot win the overall winner or judge award categories. That's something we put in there because I want to participate a little bit, but I do know I cannot. I don't want to have to judge my own stuff. I might ask people to look at it and see that. I know plenty of people who are the judges here probably have written stuff that, or want to write stuff that they can submit. I kept the prompt as secret as so secret. I didn't tell either of these judges what the prompt was until this post went out earlier today. Were you guys surprised by the prompt?
Yes, only because I am bad at reading certain messages. So I was just like, I saw that and I was like, I probably missed that in my Discord message. So this is the first time I'm like, oh, I was meant not to hear about it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on the ball then.
This is
I have.
yeah.
It is still early morning for me, so I'm delightfully surprised. No, it looks good. New beginnings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
That's awesome.
And maybe if we do this next year, we can do random generated one like what the Onyx Pathcast does for their 5-minute pitches. Okay.
Cool. So I was wrong about Dystopia Rising.
I was wrong about Dystopia Rising as well because I didn't have it listed in the blog post. We should add it to the blog post or edit it if possible. I have no familiarity with Dystopian Rising. Okay. So after that, we've got the rubric. We've got the theme. We already mentioned the theme. I got some people liking that if the theme is African swallows and you submit for European swallow, it would score 3 out of 5 for the theme because it followed half of the theme. The rubric basically points are 0 to 5. If you don't follow that aspect of the rubric, you get no points. If you follow it to the letter, you're going to get probably either 3 or 4 points. And if you go far and beyond to the point that we are like hugely like thrown, like we are bowing to your magnificence, that's a 5. Um, stuff that we've got here for part of the rubric, you have your theme, you have originality, how unique the entry is, either in story or in mechanics. Completeness, how usable the mechanics of the entry is. So basically, if I look at it, or if we look at it and we can tell, like, this is a product that's complete, it has, it can be played, nothing, like, basically, there's, you just, if you give us an entire list of game abilities but don't describe how those game abilities work, that's not complete.
And if you get the opportunity to playtest, please list your playtesters in any acknowledgements. It's just a matter of politeness and acknowledgement that this isn't, you know, you sitting behind a computer screen having crunched the numbers. It's these people cooperated with me and we worked together to produce this thing in a way that we know functions, and it will help your mechanics so much if you're doing mechanics.
Definitely. I've playtested myself for a couple of game companies, and it's always good to be acknowledged for the hard work that us as game testers do. The additionally, as part of the rubric, we have presentation, which is how finished the artwork is. 0 to 5, 5 being it's Onyx Path quality artwork, which means it's something that we could see being used in an actual Onyx Path product. However, if you draw something and it's like the Sistine Chapel, man, I'm like, mad props to you. That could be in an Onyx Path book. Layout, basically, we did say earlier that the Storypath templates are supplied by Onyx Path on Storypath Nexus, so you can download those. There are links to it in the blog post, which I will post that again down here. And then lastly, we have the X Factor, which is basically our tiebreaker. It will only be used for a tiebreaker in the event of the judges not being able to come to a conclusion. But it will tell you how much we biasly love your product, probably, I would say. Like, if you do something and you can, we mentioned Trinity and Continuum. If you do Trinity and Continuum Assassins, my X Factor score for you is going to go up a little. But remember that it is going to be spread out across multiple judges. Besides us, there's another judge who couldn't make it to the stream. But basically, that is how things will work in that regard.
Also, of additional note, if I'm just saying, if you're trying to win over me, especially in layout, if you can make your thing readable and I don't have to flip through 200 pages to find a thing, I, you're already getting a few fives. You're getting a few fives automatically. If I can find what I'm looking for, it doesn't matter what system. I'm already there.
Absolutely.
Don't put the rules in the fluff. The rules should not be in the fluff.
No, not in the pros. Don't put them in the pros.
Yeah. Technically, mentioning pros, if I think Storypath Nexus does allow you to put up fiction. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to double check, but that's something you could put in as a thing.
I do have one question, something that I didn't think of right until this minute. With the art, in terms of quality, if someone is using just Onyx Path art from the art packs, we may have to discuss this a bit more in person, but we should probably make a call as to whether or not that is counted as 3, 4, or 5 in regards to the nature of what we have. Because art packs are supplied graciously. Thank you very much, Onyx. But that's probably something for us judges just to make a little note of.
Yes, I think we will have to narrow that down. I feel like I thought I had mentioned it in the rubric, but I'll have to look at back at my emails and see where that landed, because there was a lot of conversation about um, what people like. I think it might be there was a lot of conversation between me and OPP about that in
Mm.
particular. But that's for us judges to talk about. Uh, what else? Is there any questions that the audience have, or you, the judges, have? We do have a link in the blog post for where entries will be listed. Right now, it's empty, but we will be filling that out as the game jam goes on.
Question in the chat. Someone says technically it is a five. It is OPP art. No. Question
Mm.
mark.
Yeah,
Uh,
That's why I'm asking, because from if we want to encourage people to use OPP art, amazing, fantastic. There are a lot of great artists in Onyx Path products.
yeah.
It just becomes a question of, do people only use the art packs? How will we reward people who put in original art? That
Yeah.
sort of thing.
I think that's a great question to ask. I believe one of the expectations was to have people have it so that people do use the art packs more so than say stock images, but definitely original art shouldn't be penalized in that regard. I'll have to go through it, and I'll make mention of, through my emails and see where we landed on that.
Mhm.
But there is an answer. I will find it eventually. We've got 15 minutes left in the stream, though. I will ask, what do you both, what are you thinking currently, given the theme, New Beginnings, that you would want to create? I put you guys on the spot.
you
You're
did.
speechless.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say.
No, I was still buffering. If this is a new beginning, I would probably start like a new adventure, because like a new beginning, a new adventure for new players to actually come in, find out what system it is that they're playing with. If it's um, Trinity Continuum, starting off some of the more basic lore stuff, some of the more basic aspects of what goes into that adventure. For Scion, what does it mean to be a Scion in this whole campaign and stuff like that? So that's kind of where I'm going when it comes to like coming up with something new for this game jam. But that's just me. I don't have any stake in this because I'm just judging and I'm just a taste tester, not an actual chef.
You,
Yeah,
Liam?
I'm not. I would like. Sorry, like I said, I was toying around with the idea of using. They came from the bush, playing with more Australian horror and Tasmanian Gothic sort of ideas, because I like our folklore and stories. But now I'm looking at the theme and going, is that new enough? Is that beginning enough? Is that what would I have to tweak? So I'm not sure. Um, Thinking about it though, it's just sitting in the back of my mind, spinning on the hamster wheel.
I Travis posted in the chat here. Someone should make a random settlement builder for Dystopian Rising, and I that got me thinking. Like, oh man, like those like there's an RPG called Worlds Without Number or Planets Without Number or
Yeah, I've heard
Realms
of that one.
Without Number, and their random generation tables are so clutch. Like, I love them so much. I could see having a random generator for like something like Trinity Continuum for like a random scenario builder, like for like maybe Aberrant or something, where it's like, oh, we new beginnings. It's a new mission or something like that, or a new starting mission or a new villain group or something, and you can just have that as your generator. Honestly, if you could put how you feel your game is related to the theme in the description of it, I would love that. It would help me think a little bit more like how you are how you as the writer, and I'm saying this to the people in the stream more so, uh, to me to understand what you as the writer would think of. But I new beginnings to me, I'm thinking like I I've been trying to do a lot of more like story guide related content. Like I've been making quick reference sheets for myself a lot of the time, and maybe I can think of something like simplified story guide rules or something like that for someone in, say, Trinity Continuum, because that's what I know. Um, where like it's a starting off point, like a new story guide, uh, like rule book, not rule book, but like jumpstart or something. And I say jumpstart now, realizing that's an introductory adventure, but like sort of like
perfect, perfect for new beginnings, though.
Yeah, perfect for new beginnings. And there is always a story guide shortage. I'm always looking for someone to run a game for me.
Yeah.
And
let's see.
We've got a lot of people in chat right now. I'm very happy with the numbers for this.
Honestly, there's just a little bit of Australian shit posting, so I do not apologize, but I do take responsibility.
Well, if you're doing an Australian theme, they came from "Will drop bears be included?"
No. You'll never get to see them. Of course, there won't be any drop bears.
So there's 100% will be.
Shh. Yes, absolutely. One thing that is probably good to mention: just be culturally aware and sensitive in your stuff. I say this because part of my thinking automatically goes to, how could we incorporate, say, the Indigenous stories and dreaming within my stuff respectfully? In general, tread lightly. Avoid, treading too heavily there. And just be sensitive and kind to people.
Totally. I try to be as sensitive as I can, but if you can find someone to be a sensitivity reader, that is 100% like gold. Just as early on as possible too, if you can, because then it's suddenly, instead of having to change your entire like focus of a, if you've written like your entire product and then give it to a sensitivity writer and they're like, this entire thing needs to be rewritten because this isn't how it actually is in reality, that's something that you've lost a lot of time on. But having it early on where it's like, this is the idea I'm working for in my outline, maybe you can get some, not just some input that'll point you in the right direction, but maybe you'll find out stuff that you didn't know about people of a different culture than yourself.
Not just one thing I want to add on top of that. The style guides at the bottom, they're not just there to look pretty, they're there to help you with all of this. So don't think that you're just going into this on with nothing to work with. Those style guides will help not just in the game jam, but also just in coming up with new stuff in general. And they're valuable resources, just like the art assets. So don't just ignore them, actually look at them and work with them.
Exactly. The template ones in particular, if you follow the template the layout of the Storypath template. Um, those templates are for Microsoft Word, and I forget InDesign maybe. There's a they usually have two templates. Just using that template gets you 4 points in layout. That's in the rubric already. And if you can make your product look exactly like a Storypath product, man, that's 5 points right there. Like if I can't tell, yeah, Travis is saying in chat it's Word and InDesign, and if you can make me believe that this is actually a Storypath product, Chef's kiss, 5 points right there for layout.
Because hopefully it should be a Storypath product. We're doing this as a hobby, but this is coming out and people can earn money from it, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
totally.
good.
I mean, this is pushing me to put something out on Storypath Nexus. I've constantly been berated by Travis to put some of my stuff on it. So he said I should. I think one of the things I might do for next week is put up to show people how to upload to Storypath Nexus is upload one of those ideas I've written down but I haven't like built off of really, and do that. Yes, you are a cruel taskmaster, Travis.
But we love you for it.
We love you. It's wonderful to get this opportunity to do this to bring to, to bring people together in fun competition. It's have fun. Don't stress if you can't make deadlines or things like that. It's all about just reaching out to the community and having a good time.
Hmm.
I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to finally help orchestrate this.
Hmm. And thank you for doing so. You
Yeah.
have put in a lot of work to set this up, so that deserves acknowledgement.
Thank you. Yeah, I wrote the entire rubric out. All the judges have had input, and Onyx Path has had input, but I wrote all this stuff out, and I hope it's all legible. I hope if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to us. We do have the email for submissions, so you can send things. Thank you, Travis, for the for the message about how great the work has been on this. I really love like I wasn't really into Storypath originally. Like I was always into Chronicles of Darkness, but then playing Trinity, Continuum, Assassins, Anima, all the Storypath games, it's interesting to see how mechanically it's grown and changed. And I've fallen in love with it, and I really want to help give back to the community and help foster the Storypath Nexus for new game designers and people to share what they've created.
Hmm.
You look at something like Dungeons and Dragons, and man, you can find a Wikipedia page, and it's just full of homebrews and things like that. And that's something I want to see for Storypath. I think I've talked to like a bunch of people on the discords, and the stuff that's out there already, like I think it's like if you search like Storypath Nexus, you'll find like 101 novas for Aberrant, 100 weapons for Trinity Continuum Core, things like that. And they I'd like to see more people putting that stuff out, having more fresh eyes, fresh faces in the community. And anything else anyone else wants to say? Because I'm closing my eyes because I'm getting a little anxious.
Well, I think you cover almost everything.
Yeah.
What was it? Magic School Bus, she said, get wild, get crazy, get weird,
Oh, totally get weird
get
on
messy.
this.
So Um, that's what we want to see. We want to see all your creative input. We want to see all the amazing things you can come up with. But also remember, this is a fun competition, and part of fun competition is fun. Thank you for all input in that last part in there.
No, it is diligent, hard work, and burning yourself out after the end.
Oh,
Sure, from the
definitely.
tech company.
Yeah. We're not any of the giant tech companies that have been doing that.
No.
I
Use your time. Use time ethically. Like, this is not your job. This is all of our hobbies. It's just stuff we are passionate about.
oh,
And if it's a passion project, like, we need to be able to respect our own time in that, and that's hard. And I'm bad at that. So I'm looking forward to more discipline in it with this.
definitely, definitely. I've if you listened to the Onyx Pathcast, like I think it might have been an episode or two ago. I think it was Danielle was mentioning that OPP. If you're a freelancer for OPP and you have emergency stuff come up, if you're behind on a deadline or something, as long as you're communicative and like early enough and fast enough, they'll accommodate you. And that's something that Travis is very good at telling me for the Onyx Path Twitch stuff as well. He's like, don't stress yourself out. Schedule time as you need. If you need a little bit more time, we can give you more time. That's um, it's mental and physical health first, then work. Like you can't you can't work well if you're not feeling good.
I think that's everything.
Mm.
Yeah, that is everything. I am not damaging your reputation as a harsh taskmaster, Travis. Telling
if
me that I need.
anything,
Yeah.
if anything, being told repeatedly you need to stop and look after yourself is the harshest thing that you can ever hear. It's the worst. I love it. I hate it.
I've had I I'll talk about that offline. It's six. It's been an hour. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you all create the best, most unique stuff that you feel like you want to be putting out there in the world. Uh, Go to town, throw paint to the wall, go crazy. I'd love to see it, and thank you so much. Now it's the end of the stream. Tell people where you can find them and find you and sign off. Liam, you can go first.
You can find me at Twitter under Rampant Wombat, and you can find me on TikTok at Rampant Wombat, where I talk mostly Chronicles of Darkness stuff, but that will change this month.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
nice. Krow, where can people find you?
You can find me and the rest of my weird coterie of folks on Twitter at BSLate TV. You can also find all of our other stuff on Twitch and YouTube, and I don't know if we're on TikTok currently, but you can find all of our other stuff on Corvus Crow. Both of those things are with a K, so that is where you can find us. And also, I will be on Onyx Path stuff in a couple weeks, 2 weeks, I think next week. So I'll be on a Onyx Path thing as well. So you can find me everywhere. I'll be lurking.
And I am the Awkward GM Corbin. You can find me on YouTube at the Awkward GM Corbin. I'm on X, Twitter, Blue Sky at Awkward GM Corbin, I think. I'll have to double check that. I don't use it too often. But you can hit me up on Discord. I am currently doing a lot of Trinity Continuum stuff right now for my channel. I've my next video, which is going to come out sometime later this week, is going to be on Scion, actually, Scion Heroes. So please check that out if you can. And I do have a Patreon at the Awkward GM Corbin if you wish to support my shenanigans. Thank you all for watching. And remember, I think it's one world, one path. Many worlds, one path. That is.
Many worlds, one path.
Yeah.
And we shall say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
See you at the Nexus. And transition.